All right. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today's day is September 4th, 2025. This is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in Albany and New York City. This is also being live streamed on the authority's YouTube channel. Present today are Chair Lily Fan and Commissioner Edgar De Leon, and both are in the New York City office. Staff that are also participating, General Counsel Shannon Carney Sarfo, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Maureen Hughes, Deputy Counsel Jamie Gallagher's here, and Zone 1 Counsel Margarita Marsico, and myself, Secretary Roper. We're all connected via WebEx. We have one item on today's calendar. It's a request for an emergency summary order of suspension from Counsel's office. The agenda number is 09-04-2025-001. The license ID number is 0340-22-105099. Taste of the City Lounge, Inc., located at 903 Franklin Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. Believe the prosecutor presenting is Somalia Samuel. So whenever you're ready to proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, members of the board, Chair Fan, Commissioner De Leon. On behalf of Counsel's office, I am now making a request seeking an emergency summary order of suspension for the licensed premise Taste of the City Incorporated, again located at 908 Franklin Avenue. This comes on the heels of a highly publicized mass shooting that occurred at the licensed premises on August 17, 2025, in the wee hours of the morning. There were 14 victims in total. 3 people were killed as a result of this mass shooting at the licensed premises. Marvin St. Louis, 19, Amadou Diallo, 27, and Jamel Childs, 35. Again, 11 other sustained injuries from gunshot wounds, and then the stampede that kind of ensued as a result of the crossfire. What we know from police reports and speaking with detectives and sergeants who are on the scene and reviewed the video is that there was some type of dispute possibly between, and I think Police Commissioner Tisch has said that some of the folks involved had gang affiliation that later led to a shootout. 42 shell casings were recovered. There were confirmed 4 guns or 4 gunmen within the license. Yes.
Excuse me, you broke up when you were just about to tell us what you said Commissioner Tisch had said. And then the screen froze on our end. If you could just repeat that.
Sure. I said Police Commissioner Tisch, I think, has publicly come out and stated that the shooters involved have a gang affiliation. And so that the dispute that arose within the licensed premises prior to the shootout may have stemmed from that. There were 42 shell casings recovered. They have been confirmed that there were 4 guns inside, or 4 gunmen. And what we know about that night in terms of, or that morning, in terms of what the licensee did was security did not, there were 2 security guards. Security did not pat down everyone. And this is based on NYPD reviewing footage from the incident. They did not pat down everyone who went in. Everyone's IDs were not scanned. There were 114 people scanned throughout the night. I think they only had the names of 2 of the victims from those scans. There was a DJ playing. There was hookah. There was actually a metal detector that police officials say was leaning up against the wall that wasn't even being used that night. I think in terms of the egregiousness of this is I guess highlighted by the fact that 3 weeks prior to this incident, the licensee had a meeting, a cure meeting with NYPD executives and commanding officers and reps from the mayor's office about disorderly conduct at his 2 licensed premises. The licensee here also is the principal at Fresh Grill and Restaurant at 1368 Flatbush. And so NYPD executives from both the 70 and the 71st precinct sat down and kind of went over what was going on and issued some recommendations to the licensee about safety, right? Patting everyone down, implementing safety scanners, making sure that his security guards were bonded and completing the importance of calling the cops when there's an incident. Just safety precautions, because there had been a security guard who was punched in the face at the Taste of the City premises after he retrieved a gun off of a patron who was trying to get inside of a Taste of the City. And so at this point, NYPD executives are saying, okay, there's a problem. Here are some things that you need to put into place. It is based on the evidence that we have in the documents and what happened that night. The licensee kind of disregarded these safety precautions and wasn't vigilant, even in light of what NYPD executives and the mayor's office were saying should be, security measures should be kind of heightened given what's going on at these licensed premises. And I will just also highlight that there have been other incidents of violence prior to the mass shooting. There are some in the memo, but I also want to highlight just some information in terms of like what we have from 911 calls. So April 20th, 2025, there's a big fight outside, 30 people, at least 30 people to call states. People have bottles in their hands and they're fighting. April 19th, 2025, which I explained already, a security guard is punched in the face after trying to retrieve a gun off someone trying to enter. February 1st, 2025, shots are fired in front of the licensed premise location. November 17th, 2024, there's a patron who was shot outside of the licensed premises. So in 2024, there's a person who suffers injuries as a result of being shot outside the licensed premises. In the police report, the caller can be heard saying the mail is from Taste of City, mentioning the licensed premises directly. There on August 24th, 2024, there's a 911 call that a male is being robbed at gunpoint. There in front of the licensed premise. On May 19th, 2024, there's another 911 call that 25 to 30 people are fighting. A female says there's another woman who's been hit in her face with a lock. The caller can be heard saying, someone is saying, put down the gun, and then people are running as shots are being fired. And then even as far back as December of 2023, there's a 911 call where a caller states, someone inside of Taste of City has a knife and a gun, and that people are running all over each other trying to get out. I think from what we've heard from police officials, they have put special attention on Taste of the City in terms of directed patrols and are paying special attention. Obviously, they had a meeting. All of this together, I think, highlights that this location, as it is being operated by the licensee, is an imminent threat to public safety, not only of the patrons, but of the public at large. The licensee, in an interview with our investigator after the August 17, 2025 mass shooting, states he knows that folks from gangs patronize his licensed establishment because the neighbors have told him this. He states that he has security in a security company, but we weren't given any information about who his security company is. He also was not on scene the day of the August 17th, 2025 shooting. There was a manager in charge, which again is in violation of his method of operation, which states that he won't have a manager, he will be present. There was a manager. We don't have any information at this time because again, this is an ongoing investigation. And there are potentially other agencies involved in this because it's a mass shooting. So we don't kind of have a complete picture. They did say that the licensee showed up, after everything went down and spoke with law enforcement, but he was not present during that night. There was a manager in charge, who we don't have the name of. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to highlight for the members, in terms of, I will also state that there are, other issues, with the license permits, and we've issued, a notice of pleading, which will go out today after this special meeting. But the licensee is not operating with a restaurant permit for the Department of Health. The licensee has been told to, stop serving hookah without a permit and continues to receive violations for that. And hookah paraphernalia and hookah, items were found at the August 17th, 2025 mass shooting. I think there are, the character of the place in terms of the 311 calls and the 911 calls that we're receiving. There is excessive noise, and disorder surrounding, the licensed premises, and the owner just hasn't taken precautions, even in light of being advised by NYPD executives and reps from the mayor's office to do the same. We also issued a letter of advice regarding the excessive noise and the potential for a focal point. The licensee has been on notice that, things need to change, given the crowd that he's attracting and the things that are happening around the licensed premises, and has disregarded that. And it's culminated in what we have, which is the August 17th, 2025 mass shooting that killed 3 people and injured another 11. And so, I think, in conclusion, is our strong recommendation that there be a summary suspension order that this place not be allowed to operate, pending, the resolution of the disciplinary matter.
Thank you, counsel. I have a couple of questions. So
Sure.
you mentioned that one of the victims is 19 years old, one of the deceased is 19,
Correct.
and presumably he wasn't scanned in the system, or he was scanned in.
We don't, let me just look at my notes. I don't know if we got the names of the 2 victims that they were able to get from the scanners. She just, yeah, the only information we had was that 2 out of the 14 victims were scanned in. So this was in terms of the
Out of
victims.
14 were actually scanned in. So do you know if there were any other victims of the shooting that were underage, meaning under 21?
No, we don't have that information at this time, Chair Fan.
Don't have the age. And do you know the condition of the other 11 victims?
The information that we have was that the injuries were like non-fatal. And so, but some of them were sustained from, internal, see other people were shot, or, the video, one of the detectives that spoke with us, say the video show a woman who's kind of like forcefully pushed out of the door in the melee, and then people are falling on top of her trying to get out.
Right. And do you have any information about what the manager or the security guards were doing or not doing during the incident?
Because we haven't been able to directly view the video, we haven't specifically seen what was happening. I think in terms of what we were told, we got a little bit of that information. The security guards that were, I guess originally, they don't know if they're licensed security or not, fled. when everyone else did during the, when the shooting happened. So weren't initially there after the police said that they fled. The
Okay.
manager, we have no, I think the police may have the information about who the manager is. We just haven't been able to get that information again because they've stated that it's an ongoing investigation that, you know, is kind of sensitive, so.
Okay, and the CURE meeting that you mentioned, is there anything in writing that resulted from that?
Yes, so exhibit number 5 is an email that representatives from the mayor's office sent to the licensee, kind of just memorializing what they had discussed and what their recommendations were to the licensee. And I think that was in or around May 15, 2025.
Got it. That was from the NYPD. Oh, from the nightlife office, I see it.
Yes.
Right, and this is subsequent to the letter of advice that we had sent out in November. Were there any pending charges
this is
against?
prior. Sorry, Champion.
No, this is, the letter of advice was prior to this meeting.
Yes. Yes,
And then the shooting happens.
yes.
All right. Commissioner?
Just a couple. Council, good job, thank you. When did you see the video inside, or have you had access to the video of the premises?
No, we haven't been provided that. We've definitely requested it, and we did speak with a lot of you know, a supervising sergeant, a couple of the detectives, and some officers who are familiar with the area and who were on scene, and so we got some information verbally, but we haven't been given the video.
Okay, what I wanted to know is if you had any information how the place appeared, because it's licensed as a restaurant, but it sounds like it's functioning as a nightclub.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I meant to mention that in my presentation. I think the overall character of the place is that of a nightclub. When we spoke with NYPD officials, they said from the video, it was definitely crowded. We haven't gotten like a freeze frame of what it exactly looks like. We did request at least that. But I think one of the detectives who viewed the video said looked like close to 100, right? And the maximum occupancy here is 74. There, even at the other licensed premise, there have been indications about overcrowding in terms of the space. And so, and hookah, right? So there's a DJ, there's hookah. I think in a lot of the 911 calls, the callers are saying we're at the club, we're at the bar. Like it is unclear that this is a restaurant. I think even from the video, one of the detectives said you can see, so they do have tables. There's like not an official dance floor. They do have tables, but you can see patrons kind of dancing around, you know, or moving around the tables, you know. So they're not, everyone's not seated. People are standing up, smoking hookah, moving to the music. The DJ's playing in the back. So.
Well, we actually have, you said we actually had 114 persons scanned, right? So we know
Yeah.
that at least many people entered the premises. And I was going to ask you about how he's been functioning at the other location, but you've indicated already that there have been problems there, right?
Yes, based on, so one of the reasons for the CURE meeting again was because of both of these locations, right? Like the disorder that was happening. And there, we actually have a there is a matter in Secretary's office now, default actually for Fresh Grill and Restaurant, which includes hookah, other smoking inside the premises, an extension of the premises, pre-mixing. And that occurred, I believe, in June. And then we have a pending matter and enforcement for this location based on another inspection. So pretty much similar things that are going on, overcrowding, NYPD and the referral states there's a bunch of traffic violations for cars double parked outside the location, 311 calls about noise, and overcrowding. So similar things are happening at the other location that the licensee is, operating as well.
Out of the prior incidents involving violence and guns that was attached to the memo, I had 10 incidents, and now it's 11 with the one that you gave us. 9 are actual incidents, and 2 are citing health violation. 1 is citing a health violation, and the other one for the hookah. A lot of these incidents are happening in front of or outside of the location. What does the outside look like? Is there a parking lot? Is it just a street? Is it neighborhood residential?
So it's mostly a residential neighborhood. There's a supermarket, to, I guess if you were coming outside of, the location, there's a supermarket to the left. And I think there's maybe a real estate office on the block, and then there are apartment buildings above, to the right of, so there's nothing on top of this building. It's a single level, there's nothing above it, no apartments. The supermarket is to, again, the left if you were coming out, but there's no building, no apartments. There are some apartments to the right, of that, but otherwise it's a, mostly residential neighborhood. And we asked, one of the lieutenants that we spoke with, who does a lot of the admin, if they've had other issues with the other licensed premises in the area. And he indicated, that they had not, had, other issues with, I believe there is, Franklin 820 and the Crown Street Pub are in the same vicinity, as this licensed premise, and the cops don't.
Franklin
Those
Avenue
places
is
are
the
problem.
worst. Crown Heights. It's a full street of restaurants and.
I would also note that this, and what the NYPD has explained to us, is that this licensed premise is kind of, the backdrop of it is Ebbetsville Development, which is a housing development, that, has a, strong ties to gang, activity. And so it is kind of, and there are about 7 buildings. And so they're literally like around the corner from this establishment, and, but not on the same block.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm good if you are.
All right.
Yeah, but
All right, the members are ready to vote. Commissioner De Leon, do you want to go first?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I just want to echo council's work on this, on gathering the information for us. This is a very egregious incident involving deaths, 3 individuals, a number of other individuals, 14 in total hurt. This happened inside the premises, not outside. The fact that 42 cases, casings are recovered, 4 gunmen seen in the video, is a significant breach of security. This is a place that is licensed at a maximum of only 74 people, yet we had 114 scans, so we had overcrowding, a metal detector present that was not being used. We have a minor present, a 19-year-old inside the establishment. And with all of the violence that's occurred inside regarding the incident that's the subject of this investigation, we have a number of incidents that have happened outside involving shootings and assaults in a neighborhood that is both commercial and residential. So the place is not only an endangerment to its patrons, but also to innocent persons that may be passing by. This appears to be a restaurant that turns into some kind of a nightclub. The licensee is in violation of his method of operation. Because it is a restaurant and appears, from what I've heard, to be functioning otherwise. He's only supposed to have recorded music, not to permit dancing, and not to have a manager, yet he was not present on the day that this happened. People apparently were dancing or moving around. Security personnel not employed. And He also has another location, which is been the subject of problems. It's also particularly egregious that apparently in November, the SLA sent him a warning, I guess, I would call it, and instructions. And then in May of 2025, he had this cure meeting with the police precinct executives and the mayor's office that pointed out that there were conditions that needed to be addressed, specifically that security should pat down both men and women, training for security, that hookah could not be sold, that security guards had to be licensed, and you don't know what the security company is in this case, and that he should work with the police. And 3 months later, we have this horrific incident where scanners were being used, but not every person was scanned. Some persons were patted down, but not every person is patted down. We have a metal detector that's not being used. The principal who's supposed to be managing the place is not present. We have hookah and we have dancing and we have a DJ, all in violation of the method of operation. Finally, we have at least 11 incidents of prior assaults. Some at one at least, two at least, excuse me, appear to have happened inside. The rest either directly in front of or right outside the location. And to top all this off, we have a restaurant that's not licensed, has a permit that has expired, and he's allowing hookah to be used. Again, another violation. The precinct commander in his referral to this agency cited 127 311 complaints beginning in 2023 and 194 911 calls either regarding the license premise or incidents occurring in or around the license premise. So I find that this is a clear case where there is an imminent threat to the public health, safety, and welfare, not solely of the patrons, but of the residents of that neighborhood and the other persons that frequent the commercial establishments in that area. And I vote to summarily suspend.
Chair.
I vote to summarily suspend this license as well, along with the commissioner. I agree with everything he said. This location, this licensee is clearly not taking any advice and responses from the city and our agency seriously. He had opportunities to adjust his method of operation and protect the public safety, welfare, and health of his patrons and bystanders, and has not done so. And so I'm going to vote to summarily suspend this license due to the imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare. And thank you to council for a detailed presentation. And I encourage you to continue to prosecute the case.
Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting's adjourned.
Bingo.
Thank you, team.
Bingo.